Hello, my name is Christian Guadagno, and I'll be discussing some of the barriers that contribute to the underrepresentation of women as well as racial minorities in leadership positions within the financial services industry and the finance industry as a whole. This is a deeply pressing issue that is tied to systematic inequalities and one that really demands our attention, especially for new grads that are looking to get into the finance industry. I really wanted to start this presentation by explaining why this topic matters to me. And so, as a business management major with minors in business analytics and political science, I've always been really interested in understanding how systems work, especially within the financial services industry, which I hope to pursue a job in after I graduate in the coming spring. As a Hispanic individual as well, I also recognize the importance of representation and inclusion in every facet, whether it's school or business. Um, and so these personal and professional motivations, I think, have really inspired me to research this issue and explore some of the potential solutions that we can use to solve this issue in the financial services industry. The financial services industry really struggles with a severe lack of diversity, and there is a persistent diversity gap in the industry, particularly when it comes to leadership roles in those top executive positions. Women, for example, are underrepresented at all senior levels. And as well, only 37 black-owned investment firms exist in the entire U.S., which really highlights the scope of the diversity gap. These figures really highlight the depth of the problem and the need for systematic change to change these practices. One really critical issue is this so-called broken rung, which I found in my research. This really refers to that gap at the very first step of the corporate ladder. For example, women are less likely than men to be promoted from entry-level roles, such as a financial analyst role, to a management role in the future. A good statistic to demonstrate this is that for every 100 men promoted, only 86 women receive the same opportunity. And so this disparity really has ripple effects. And it severely limits women's chances of reaching senior positions in the future and kind of cuts that gap for career progression. Another pronounced barrier is the impact of intersectionality. So, when we really consider the intersection of both gender and race, some of the challenges from both sides are even more pronounced. Black women, for instance, they face a double disadvantage due to both the gender and racial biases. A researcher, Baines, that I researched actually referred to this as a concrete ceiling instead of a glass ceiling that women primarily face, kind of demonstrating how complex it is to get to these leadership roles. And so they experience things like microaggressions and are often excluded from networks. And they also see a stagnant representation in key financial sectors. These barriers are very systematic and very complex, and they require targeted solutions. Another significant factor is the workplace culture in the finance industry. The finance industry is often described as having a very macho culture and is very male centric. So this environment fosters a lot of unconscious bias towards women as well as racial minorities, which can lead to microaggressions and even lead to limited mentorship opportunities for people coming up the ranks in the financial services industry. Additionally, the industry's long hours and emphasis on being in office constantly can also disproportionately affect women that have family responsibilities and can't be in office as much as the average person that works in the financial services industry can be. So why does this research topic matter beyond equity and beyond fairness? And that is because diversity is actually a key business success factor, and research shows that racially diverse companies actually generate almost 15 times more revenue than less diverse companies. Um, Additionally, diverse teams also drive innovation and improve employee retention and bring different perspectives from different cultures into solutions that can actually help a company. And also, having a diverse workforce can strengthen customer relations as they see themselves in the people that they work with. And so, diversity isn't just a moral imperative, it's actually a business one as well. Another barrier that I identified that's not typically one that you would associate with this research topic is elite university recruitment. And so financial firms often prioritize graduates from very prestigious schools, such as Harvard, which really limits access for more students from underrepresented and lower socioeconomic backgrounds. And so this practice really reinforces existing inequalities and narrows the pool of diverse candidates and talent entering the industry. And so a lot of the people in these industries have a very similar way of thinking, which can lead to some problems both business wise as well as culturally. Addressing these challenges requires action on multiple levels. At the organizational levels, for example, companies should be investing in more diverse and inclusive initiatives, such as mentorship programs, and also looking to create a more flexible work environment, not making people come into the office 7 days a week and working 100+ hour work weeks. Um, at the industry level, it is important that they promote diverse role models and really challenge some of the discriminatory practices that have been in the financial services industry for years. And then finally, at the societal level, I think we need to encourage a lot of early exposure to finance for girls as well as racial minorities, and kind of start to dismantle the harmful stereotypes that go um, beyond being in finance. And so together, I think that these steps can really help create a more inclusive financial services industry and give many people access to uh, jobs in an industry that they may have not thought of previously. Thank you so much for your time listening to this presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions as well as continue the conversation to figure out ways that maybe we can start to break down some of the barriers, gender and racial barriers in the financial services industry.